Let's go. This we have 12.4 volts. Let's check. The fan they run steady. For disconnector, make it no run the battery down. Trying to solve a problem with Nissan Murano not starting up. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to disconnect the fan first. One more check here. It's supposed to be Asian model. Okay. Nissan. No. Okay. Okay, here. Ignition is on. Say it will not start, so let me go ahead and check what is wrong here. Control. Okay, so Murano 250, recognize it, takes some time. Check it. Okay. That's calibrations, ECM, so solar system selection, engine control module. Let's see exactly what is wrong.
Hello, Baba. Hey, Baba. I need them.
Travel, top converter, pressure, camshaft, integrated temperature sensor. Let's see a whole lot of are you serious? Auto speed control device, ASCDC camshaft pressure sensor. Oh, the camshaft pressure sensor will allow you to start. Okay, over here is your report. So you have
the English or the honor?
no, no problem. I'm responsible for this. I'll go ahead and hit save. I'm gonna go back and clear this error code and see what happens. Okay. Trouble code again. Okay, same. So go back. Trouble code. So serious. Let's see. Trouble code again. Okay, these are the current problem which the car have. Top converter, pressure control, some right A. pressure control solenoid, I believe. Intake air temperature sensor. And this car doesn't start right. Let's check.
Look different, we never figure out
Okay. We'll connect that flow meter for me first. Just crank it down. Put this ignition back on. So now pull back here. Apply a trouble code. Okay, let's take a look at it again. Okay, the intake air temperature sensor is gone, so let's take a look at it again. Okay, see cranks and no stop. So I'm gonna go back and check through the main signals. Okay, now look at and crank it. Let's see the engine speed. Here, look at the crank and see the engine speed. Okay, the speed does fluctuate, so which means battery voltage, accelerator pedal, throttle intake, temperature, everything seems to be pretty much cool. I'll do that again. Let's see how. Go ahead and see. Okay, here's the signal. See, the start signal is off. Why would the start signal be off? Why would the start signals be off? Also see the closed throttle body. Load signal, ignition switch, injector pulse. Okay. Fuel pump relay. Okay, fuel pump is off, so let's take a look at it and see. Okay, here we go, guys. Okay, but it came on and go off, which is good. Okay, I'm gonna customize this and see if the starting signal comes back on. Okay, it comes on. An injector pulse is actually reading. Wow, this is crazy.
Boss, Alpha. I don't call your number in the morning, you know, go now. I'll tell you, say, addition.
I'm testing something very usual right now. Unusual. The load signal is off. So what could make the load signal to be off?
I'll go now. Monday, man.
It's off.
Okay. No, see how Monday go be now,
So
okay.
I'm gonna go back and check for more error code. After the overheat, waiting on a change.
We no change anything now.
Nothing. Okay, as the car do overheat finish, no really start again.
No really start. And as you go, we put them. As he said, the food for the water, no the boy.
Okay, so yes. It's to say the water the boil. But make I ask that as the thing do overheat, it off by himself?
I didn't say it off by himself.
He off by himself? Okay guys, this is the moment of truth. I took my time to interview the mechanic who actually witnessed firsthand what really happened to this very car that I was called upon to diagnose. This car would not start. It cranks but it will not start. It experiences overheating, a serious overheating that actually went down, shutting down the car. And after it was shut down, they did everything they could, but the car just wouldn't start. So it was quite a rigorous diagnostics, which I came down here to actually do. Now the reason why I decided to mute the voice is because I want to give you guys some more details that you are not seeing underneath behind the screen. And I believe it's going to be very much more helpful to give you some guidelines if you're dealing with something like this. Now, for the record, the car experienced overheat, and the overheat was really much that the car shut down by itself. Now, if it is Toyota, there's going to be a problem. You're going to be replacing the piston rings and doing replacing the ignition coils, all of them. Shocking, right? Surprise. Well, now for Nissan, I am actually seeing that Nissan has actually joined the group of badass engine that won't just fry things up, and this car just proved it. I often used to think that it's only Peugeot, Volkswagen, Ford that can actually overheat without mixing oil or mixing coolant with oil. And this car just joined the group, which is a very good one. But I don't know if the future Nissan is going to be experiencing the same, because when a car overheated to the point of shutting down, that shows that there is a serious deterioration of the top cylinder head gasket that is blown. However, for most car manufacturers that knows how to really engineer it up, good pioneers of engines, when it overheated, seriously, you're not going to be needing to replace the top cylinder head. You just need it to cool down for like 6 hours. If it is within the winter time, then we're looking at like 4 hours, because the environment temperature is going to be contributing pretty much faster in cooling down the engine. Now for this very engine here, it was a tough one, because I was seeing something that is completely off from every other cars which I went down to diagnose, like the crankshaft position sensor. I was putting out signals, but this car would not start. So I did everything that I could and seek some advice because I hadn't really gone too much into deep knowledge. I don't have any oscilloscope. I'm only just dealing with this very old level scanner. Now here is what I found. In most car models, if you are getting, if on the live stream data, if you are getting a signal from the crankshaft position sensor, don't replace it, because I got some bad advice. Why even seeking for advice? The reality on this very Nissan here is that the camshaft position sensor is actually the one that is delivering the right signal, telling the ECM which cylinder to fire, and not the crankshaft position sensor. Sounds crazy, right? And believe me when I say the two camshaft position sensor on this very car fried, and it never dawned on me. So in the end, I was seeing crankshaft position sensor fried, but I replaced the crankshaft position sensor and the problem didn't get solved. But as soon as I swap in a camshaft position sensor, two of them, the car just fired right up. So the reason why I'm pointing some of these areas is because you need to look at them when you are doing a broader diagnosis of a car that crank spot will not start. Also, don't forget the coolant temperature sensors for most cars, because they can actually create exact the same scenario where the car cranks just fine but it won't start up. I know a lot of you probably by this time are already getting mad I wasted your time. However, for a lot of you who are really desperate to get your car started up, this very last voiceover which I added up on this very video here should get you fixed. Bye for now.